Welcome to the Creekwood High School Football Coaches Show with Creekwood head coach Houston Thiel and Dixon Post sports reporter Casey Patrick. The Creekwood Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, for all your flooring and paint needs since 1970, voted #1 in Dixon County. The Dixon Tater Shack. Their potatoes are fluffy clouds of deliciousness that'll have you falling head over heels. New Wave Hobbies, bringing back the nostalgia with all your favorite childhood treasure in one place. Ace Hardware of White Bluff, your one-stop shop for all your do-it-yourself needs, where service and quality are always on point. Drug-Free Dixon Coalition, empowering our community one step at a time towards a healthier, substance-free future. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, here are Coach Houston Thiel and Casey Patrick.
All right, Coach, thanks for stopping with us. I'm Casey Patrick. This is the Creekwood High School Football Coaches Show. I'm here with Houston Thiel, the Creekwood High School football coach. And we're just going to go over last week's loss against Dixon County and then try to preview a little bit about Lewis County coming up this week. So, first of all, Coach, thanks for meeting with us.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Casey. Happy to give her time and hope to keep doing it in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. The first thing I wanted to ask, which I had asked Tomlinson this on the other show as well, it was what was the mood like in the locker room after the game?
Well, I mean, obviously the disappointment. I'm assuming you're talking about the week one loss, right? Yeah. So disappointment, obviously, but that's to be expected. Anytime that you go out on Friday night and you don't get the result that you're looking for, there's disappointment. But I, kind of got that 24-hour rule. You deal with it and process it and kind of deal with those feelings, and then it's time to move on. And I could tell as soon as we got back in the building Monday morning, we had our strength classes throughout the day. We went right back to lifting, still positive energy. It's been a good week as far as getting ready for Lewis County. Now we've had to make some accommodations with the heat and everything, but I disappointment, but I don't see any lingering effects from the loss Friday. I think that we'll bounce right back and look to get better, and that's about all that we can do. I was proud of those guys. I never once in the game, even though we had a lot of things go against us, that I look out there and think, man, the guys in red just aren't playing with effort. That was never a question that I had, and it's kind of been the same thing throughout the week.
Well, and that 24-hour rule that you just brought up, I mean, that's something that I've seen other coaches apply, especially in football. But that even applies to wins, doesn't it? Because, I mean, you got to get ready and get for the next opponent, right?
Right. And, me and you've kind of talked about this leading up to week one. Is been on both sides of it. Won that game a lot of times and lost it a couple. And the one time leading up to this week that we had lost before, I thought my team kind of responded better after a loss than wins because they're kind of riding that high after the wins. And when you're coming off a loss, a lot of times it's the only option that you have is to put your head down and go back to work. So it's easier to me sometimes to get back to it after a loss than it is a win, because after a win you feel good about yourself. It's easy to overlook the small things that you did wrong because you got the win in the end. And when you're coming off a loss, you can't overlook any of those things, and you got to just confront them, and you got to get back after it. And I feel like that's what we've done.
Okay, now I know you just alluded to it a minute ago, but I did have it written down, and I wanted to ask, going forward, you said you don't think there's going to be any lingering issues, but I feel like, like I said, I'd like to ask you, what is it about this group that makes you not so worried about any lingering effects going forward?
Well, man, I don't think that's in them. I think that, late in the ball game there, with probably 5 minutes to go, you knew how that game was going to turn out. But never did I look out there and think we're not playing hard. And I think that just kind of shows who they are, the characters that they've got, kind of the program that we've established. I just don't see it. Nothing that one individual person has said or done. I think it's just the kind of the attitude of the entire team that we're going to move on. And that's the way we've been doing things around here, and I expect that to continue happening. All
right. Now, of course, we're going to have about 4 segments here, so we're going to take a break a few times. But before we go to our first break, I did want to bring up your defense. I know after the game we talked, and I asked you for anything that you were really happy with your team, and you said that you were really happy watching those guys fly around. How fun is it for you as a coach to know every week when you go out there those guys are going to fly around and they're going to be like that for you?
Well, that's just kind of how we play defense. It's a little bit of a chip, a little bit of an attitude that that we're going to go out, we're going to play through the whistle. And there were some guys that had really good games this past Friday. Nathan Lott on the defensive line, he was a force. They had a really hard time getting hands on and made a lot of big plays in the backfield for us. Austin Barton was a guy that played really good inside linebacker. That he was, had struggled some through the preseason, and we've been really trying to coach him up through all those, and it seemed like it all kind of came together for him Friday. So was really excited to see some of those individual efforts that we got. And, anytime that we talk about 21 points, anytime our defense holds team under 21 points, we're expecting to win. If our offense scores over 21, we expect to win. I thought the defense did their part and played extremely well and well enough to win, but just couldn't get anything going on the other side of the ball. And unfortunately, that's just part of it sometimes.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to take our first break, and make sure y'all don't go anywhere. Come back and catch the rest of this.
If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 paint store in Dickson County.
As your local Ace Hardware of White Bluff, we are all committed to being the helpful place by offering our customers personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience from the local experts who know you best. As the helpful hardware folks in your neighborhood, we promise that helping you is the most important thing we have to do today. Visit us online or in store.
If you love Funko Pop, figures, video games, and Star Wars toys, you need to check out New Wave Hobbies. With new items arriving daily, there's always something new to discover. From Funko Pop, figures to video games, Star Wars toys to Marvel collectibles, we've got everything you're looking for. Whether you're a fan of sports, movies, or TV, you'll find something to excite you. Visit us in store or check out our Facebook, New Wave Hobbies virtual store page today.
At Dickson Tater Shack, we take loaded baked potatoes to a whole new level. We're not just any potato joint, we're the best this side of the Mason-Dixon line. Whether you're a traditionalist who loves classic flavors or a culinary adventurer seeking bold new combinations, we've got you covered. Located at 728 East College Street. Dine in or take out. Follow us on Facebook. Call us at 615-740-7111.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
All right, welcome back to the Creekwood High School Football Coaches Show. We're here with Coach Houston Thiel. So, again, I do want to bring up that there are a few plays from that last game that I do want to bring up. And I know offensively for Dickson County, they, with that first touchdown that they scored, Ray Dotson, caught the receiver Hungsmeyer down the sideline. What was it about that play that led to them scoring? And, after you go back and you watch it on film, I personally, I was right there in front of it, and I know you were pretty close to it too. Yeah. It was a perfect throw by Dotson. And I even heard Coach Smith tell one of the defensive backs that you can't do nothing about that because it was a perfect throw. So, but what else kind of led up to that play happening?
We talk about it a lot. A perfect ball beats perfect defense, and that's kind of what it was. And you use names, Casey. I don't use names. Number 3 is whom we're discussing. He's a really good quarterback. I think when he's in the game, you've got to account for some different things. And I thought he was really hard to handle as far as what he's able to do on the field. So exciting kid to watch. Now, in that particular play, we had an automatic check that we should have got into that we didn't cover up exactly right. We did a good job of at least kind of getting a hat on a hat there. Had Charlie McCormick in coverage there in a spot that really he should have never been in. Honestly, an incredible play on his part just to have the football awareness to pick that guy up so that he wasn't just completely uncovered since we had a misalignment. And then, we're there, and like we talked about, like you said, Coach Smith told those guys, like, the coverage was there. Charlie was fully extended. Right there on the sideline, kid just goes up and makes a play. And when you're at that point in the field, there's not a lot of help behind you. So he's able to take it down and get in. That was obviously a huge play in the ball game. I thought that the missed extra point right immediately afterwards was also had the potential to be a really big play in the game. And that's something that we discussed at halftime there is, 6-0, where that's one score and an extra point, and we're right there in it. Looking back, just an incredible play by Dickson County on that particular play. Great throw, good catch, and then a finish into the end zone. We had some misalignments, but overall, we played it pretty well, and sometimes a good ball just beats perfect defense.
Yeah, and speaking of, a perfect ball, I thought Alex Benson threw some really nice passes down the sideline to Brendan Adams on Friday night. What can you say about the type of athleticism that Adams and some of your other receivers have, but specifically those plays? He is he's a agile guy with long arms. Adams is that's able to kind of create space and get open for you. What was it about those plays for him and your passing game in general?
Yeah, no secret that we feel really good about our guys outside. Now, to get to that point, we got to do a little better job of protecting our quarterback up front so that we can get some more opportunities. But, we did hit some deep ball completions. We left a few out on the table, obviously, but some of those are ball placement from a quarterback. Other ones are just, not finishing the catch. But Friday, we had a really hard time establishing any run game. So we had to try to do some stuff through the air, which it became difficult because, Dickson County understood they pretty much shut down our run game, so they're able to do some things on the outside coverage-wise that made it a little bit tougher. But we got a lot of good releases off the ball as far as our receivers getting off clean. Adams did a really good job. He's kind of our burner that can kind of scorch through defenses, and he had a couple times that he was able to get by a jam technique and get upfield and make some plays. The two catches that on the long balls were good throws, but it also took some, Adams using his body to get in position to make those plays. Those are things that we've seen, throughout the preseason. You're excited in the moment, but it's not something that you don't really expect to happen because you've seen those guys make those plays. Anytime the ball goes in the air and it's around our guys, we got confidence that they're going to come down with it.
Well, yeah, and you got to have more confidence going forward too, because when you see those guys make those plays, and I know that Friday night probably wasn't the best game for some of your guys. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I felt like I saw quite a bit of talent from your, especially your skill guys outside, like you're talking about. That makes you more confident going forward, right?
Right, and I mean it's no secret that we're breaking in a lot of new folks and a lot of new spots, and it's kind of tough at times. You got a quarterback that is new to it, first time being out there as a starter, and you're putting him in a situation where there's a lot of pressure on him. It wasn't like we went out and played a team that we knew we were going to come in and beat by 50 points. You knew it was going to be a tight ball game. You knew it was going to be a big crowd. And at times, as a whole, I thought our offense didn't handle that moment really well. And not to say that's to be expected, but it's almost understandable with the youth and inexperience that we were using out there on Friday that they're going to get caught up in the moment at times. Now, a lot of those things have to be fixed for us to get better as a football team. And it's a lot of things that we got to pay a lot of close attention to moving forward. But you would hope that as the year moves on that they're able to kind of smooth out some of those issues.
All right. And the last thing I wanted to ask about, I know that their running back, I guess number 28, as you would call it. He was able to get 2 touchdowns there late in the second half. Do you think that was just a point of, your defense had been out there quite a bit, and they, just kind of gotten tired?
Yeah, to an extent. I know one of the scores on the toss, I believe it was going into the scoreboard end. We had a shift on defense that was unnecessary, kind of shifted our defensive line away from the play. And again, that's just guys kind of being inexperienced and not really seeing the formation correctly. We always say, like, if we don't get lined up right, we're not going to be successful. And whether that's on the offensive side when you're trying to get in the correct formation or defensively when you're trying to adjust to the formation they put in front of you. If we don't start to play in a good spot, the rest of the play is not going to be good. And that was the problem a couple of times defensively and offensively Friday.
Okay. Well, we're going to take our next break, so make sure y'all don't go anywhere. Come right back. We're gonna start to talk about Lewis County next week. All right. So thank y'all very much.
As your local Ace Hardware of White Bluff, we are all committed to being the helpful place by offering our customers personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience from the local experts who know you best. As the helpful hardware folks in your neighborhood, we promise that helping you is the most important thing we have to do today. Visit us online or in store.
If you love Funko Pop, figures, video games, and Star Wars toys, you need to check out New Wave Hobbies. With new items arriving daily, there's always something new to discover. From Funko Pop, figures to video games, Star Wars toys to Marvel collectibles, we've got everything you're looking for. Whether you're a fan of sports, movies, or TV, you'll find something to excite you. Visit us in store or check out our Facebook, New Wave Hobbies virtual store page today.
Ethan was just one of those kids who was so kind. He was 16, funny as could be. He was just going to go hang out with some friends. He wanted to come home early and get a good night's sleep. He said, "Good night, Mom. See you in the morning. Love you." And my response was, "I love you too." I was talking to him, "Son, it's time to get up." And he didn't move. Your head doesn't go that my son has died. Having a hard conversation is so much easier than sitting in my seat.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome back to the Creekwood High School Football Coaches Show. We're here with Coach Houston Thiel. One of the things I wanted to ask you too was, what are some of the main things that you saw from Friday night that you do want to work on as far as, I know you said procedural penalties were an issue Friday night. What are some of the other things that you really want to try to iron out this week before you go face Lewis County?
Yeah, I don't think we can talk about the game against Dickson County if we don't address some of the procedural stuff. We talk about pre-snap and post-snap penalties all the time are things that we can control. No matter who we're playing, we can get lined up in the right formation. We cannot get delayed games. We can control our emotions after the whistle. Those are all things, no matter who we're playing, that we have the deciding factor in. And a lot of times the procedural stuff on offense was, guys being uncertain of where they were supposed to be to start the play as far as the formation goes. The quarterback not getting the play into the guys quick enough. Just communication, if I could put it under one umbrella as far as the offense goes, in the huddle was not what it needed to be. Whether we didn't understand what the snap count was going to be on, what the formation was, what we were trying to execute on that particular play, just things that communication-wise were not very good. Speaking on other things that I saw, we talk about big moments and capitalizing on them. No matter what our offensive woes were in the game Friday, there were 2 or 3 opportunities that we had to put touchdowns on the board. and we just didn't take advantage of them. And you know, it's anybody who's at the ball game, you know, probably can count 2 or 3 right off the top of their head where we had points that we just didn't do it. You know, and those are things that if you're going to be successful, when that moment comes, you got to take it. You got to at least capitalize on a few of them. You know, you may not be 100%, but you know, we got to get a passing grade on big plays, and we were 0 on big plays as far as that could lead to points. You know, so those are things that we talk about. It is we don't know when the moment's going to come, but when it comes, we got to be ready and we got to be focused in enough to make the play. And that was kind of the part that was maybe the most disappointing coming out of Friday, is that I've seen those guys make a lot of the plays, make a lot of the throws that we needed, and when the moment came, we just didn't take it. You know, and that's part of dealing with high school age kids. The thing is that I thought our guys did a really good job of picking each other up. You know, in those moments when you have those plays that kind of get through your fingertips, it's easy to point fingers at guys and say, man, you got to make that, you got to do this, you got to do that. But I didn't hear any of that, and that was good. That was good to know that we're going to have each other's back no matter the situation.
Okay, now also going forward, there was of course Pinson was taken out late in the game, and I believe, was it Barton that came in?
Yeah, Austin Barton took some snaps toward the end.
Okay. Now, first of all, did you like what you saw out of Barton? And also, is Pinson good to go for week 2?
Yeah, Pinson will be our quarterback week 2. You know, obviously it was a physical game Friday, and you get to the moment there in time that you know, things are kind of under wraps, and you're always trying to prepare for the what-if situation. So Austin's our backup quarterback, and if we can get him some reps in a game that, you know, he's got to go out and run the offense and work on all those things, we're going to do that. So he's a guy that we've got a lot of confidence in Austin as far as being our backup, but we ask a lot of him on defense. He plays on other spots on offense, and that's just kind of another hat that he wears is being that backup quarterback. But now, Alex, I was really proud of overall what we did. You know, that there were some growing pains in there for sure. I think he showcased his arm talents. He's got a really strong arm and can make a lot of throws. You know, as the year moves on, I'm looking for him to showcase his legs a little bit more. He's a guy that can be a running threat if he'll kind of cut loose. You know, so yeah, we'll be rocking and rolling Friday with number 2 at the quarterback spot.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take our last break, and then when we get back, we're going to actually dive into Lewis County. So y'all make sure you don't go anywhere. Make sure you get back here so we can check up on the last year's 2A state quarterfinal team. So a pretty big matchup coming up, so y'all make sure and come back.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
At Dixon Tater Shack, we take loaded baked potatoes to a whole new level. We're not just any potato joint, we're the best this side of the Mason-Dixon line. Whether you're a traditionalist who loves classic flavors or a culinary adventurer seeking bold new combinations, we've got you covered. Located at 728 East College Street. Dine in or take out. Follow us on Facebook. Call us at 615-740-7111.
Ethan was just one of those kids who was so kind. He was 16, funny as could be. He was just going to go hang out with some friends. He wanted to come home early and get a good night's sleep. He said, "Good night, Mom. See you in the morning. Love you." And my response was, "I love you too." You know, I was talking to him, "Son, it's time to get up." And he didn't move. You know, your head doesn't go that my son has died. Having a hard conversation is so much easier than sitting in my seat.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
If If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 paint store in Dickson County.
Welcome back to the Creekwood High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick here with Coach Houston Thiel. This week, Coach, it's Lewis County, which is a pretty tough team. Just looking at what they were able to accomplish last year. You'll be on the road. It's a little bit of a trip. So, what are you thinking about this week, and what do you expect out of your guys?
I expect us to bounce back and go out and compete Friday. Lewis County is a really good ball team. There's a team that we saw last year in the preseason in our jamboree. They return a lot of guys, especially up front on the defensive side and offensive side. So, I think that's where the strength's going to be. So those will be guys that we'll have to handle if we're going to be successful on offense and defense. But yeah, I'm ready for our guys to get a chance to go back out and compete. I think anytime you come off a loss, the week just seems so long because you're all just ready for the next opportunity to get out there and kind of get that taste out of your mouth. And like we talked about, practice has been good. It's been difficult due to the heat and trying to make sure that we're getting adequate time in, but also following our guidelines that we've got to go by. But yeah, I think it's more just excitement and eagerness to get back out there on Friday.
Now, I know last week with Dickson County, they ran triple most of the time. What do you think Lewis County is going to try and do on offense, and what do you expect your defense to do to kind of put a stop to it?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a different style offense. Last week we knew we were going to have to stop the run game. This week, Lewis County's going to put the ball in the air. They got a quarterback that can really throw it around, a lot of good receivers. They try to move fast and kind of try to get you in misalignments and take advantage of that. So our back end, our secondary guys will be challenged, but we feel like that's a strength of our defense. So, we're looking forward to that. We're hoping to get a few turnovers and picks this week that kind of help swing momentum in our favor. But really looking forward to that. Anytime we go out and play, man, I enjoy watching the defense just because of how they're going to run around and how they're going to hunt the football. And then we've got some individuals on that side of the ball that's really good at what they do, and they're always fun to watch. And you never know, what kind of play they're going to make that could potentially swing things. So I know we talked about it in the last question, but again, it's just the eagerness to get back out on the field and get that taste out of our mouth from last week.
Okay, now I know offensively is where you obviously want to see the most growth from your team. But what do you expect from the Lewis County defense, and what are some things that you want to take advantage of?
Well, defensive schemes are also going to be different from last week to this week. Dickson County was an odd man front. Lewis County is an even man front. So, things that you got to do, that kind of changes how you got to do your blocking schemes. So those are things that our guys have to be comfortable with and adjust to. Dickson County did a really good job Friday of creating pressure and kind of creating confusion in some of our blocking schemes. And if I'm Lewis County, that's things that I'm looking to duplicate. Now, it might look different from where they start in the alignment, but their goal is going to kind of be the same. Until we prove that we can come out and establish a run game, teams are going to try to fill the box and just make it known, hey, you're not going to run on us. And then they'll do some things to try to limit our pass, So I really hope that we're able to establish run early, and that's kind of been our point of emphasis this week is, we're going to win or lose ball games on y'all's back, and we've got to be able to run the football to be successful. And, I think we're up for that. Lewis County, like I talked about, it's going to have some veteran guys up front. But, we see some things on tape that we think we can exploit. And, it'll just be coming down to actually doing it.
All righty now. One last question, and I'll let you go for the day. They're not giving you too much of a hard time around here, are they? I know that the Dickson Creekwood game is always a big matchup for anybody that's in it, but it's not too hard on you, is it?
Not at all, man. Everybody kind of understands that. They've become accustomed to winning it. We've been on a nice little streak there of winning 4 in a row, but I think people know kind of the program that we've built and the kind of the success that we've had. the past few years. So that builds up some goodwill, and it's more about how you respond to those things.
You've been watching the Creekwood High School Coaches Show with Creekwood head coach Houston Thiel and Dixon Post Sports reporter Casey Patrick. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest on Creekwood football. The Creekwood Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, Dixon Tater Shack, New Wave Hobbies, Ace Hardware of White Bluff, Drug Free Dixon Coalition, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.